So Matt, thanks for joining me today. Do me a favor, just introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about your establishment.
Sure. So I'm Matt Adams. I'm with Backyard Beans Coffee Company. We're a coffee roaster and cold brewer out of Lansdale, Pennsylvania. We also have a coffee shop, cafe in Lansdale, right on Main Street. So we started our business back in 2013, just roasting in our backyard, selling at farmers markets, and we've grown since then. We opened up our shop on Main Street in April of 2017, and added our kitchen last year. So we've been kind of growing it incrementally as we go.
Yeah, my wife and I frequent quite often, man, and it's been cool to see all the progression thus far. So, and the food, man, the food is really, really good.
Thank you.
So speaking of which, so prior to when the doors were open, when people could come into the doors, tell me a little bit about the, the experience, what kind of menu, just, give me a little snapshot of what someone could expect.
Sure. So from a coffee drink perspective, we roast all of our own coffee at our warehouse. So we tried to go with, our coffee may appear to be fairly limited compared to, let's say, Starbucks or some what we would call like second wave shops. So within the specialty coffee industry, the focus is more on quality and the preparation of the drink, as well as customer experience.
Yeah.
So, we put a lot of time and training into our baristas to making sure that all the coffee is how it's made is made based on the profiles we're looking for and the taste experience that customers can have. So we have a full selection had a full selection of espresso drinks, but we don't really necessarily do like the smoothies or blended drinks and stuff like that. So it's very coffee, and we also have tea. But then from a food perspective, we opened the kitchen last summer, and it's, I guess the best way to describe it would be, our chef describes it as like traditional, like South Jersey, like Philly style sandwiches. So like pork roll, egg and cheese. We have scrapple on the menu, a number of breakfast sandwiches that anyone that grew up in this area would be familiar with. I mean, we've had people like come in from out of town, like, what's pork roll? And it's like, I can say it's a big hot dog, but that's not going to really do it justice. So.
You guys also have some really good baked goods. Like my wife was big on like a scone, I think she had.
Yeah, so we started baking in house when we opened the kitchen, and we've since hired one of our cafe manager has pastry chef experience. Between our chefs and her, they've been able to kind of expand our baking options. So we're trying to run everything scratch. So everything basically except our our sandwich bread, like we buy those from Philly Bread in Philly, is made in house. So
awesome. Well, man, let's kind of fast forward. So obviously we know things are drastically different today than they were 1 month ago. And as a matter of fact, so I live in Lansdale. I was walking down Main Street with my son. Social distancing, of course, and went by your place and saw that it was, that you guys are unfortunately closed right now. But tell me a little bit about, what we don't see. What are you guys currently doing right now that's keeping you busy? And, what does that look like?
So the cafe, it's not technically closed anymore. We opened up last week for curbside pickup from 8 to noon.
Awesome.
But it's not something we advertise it lightly. I run it by myself. We've unfortunately had to let go of our cafe team, just given the mandate from the government, and really it came down to a safety thing. No one really knows how at the time there was less data available on how this virus spreads and how contagious it actually is. So I went with the rational conclusion that the government's willing to force businesses to shut down. They know something that I don't necessarily know. So for the safety of our employees, many of which appreciated it and expressed concern days leading to us closing about their health and safety. So we just decided it'd be best to close the shop. We worked on our curbside pickup app for the rest of that week, and then we reopened last week for the reduced hours, just Monday through Friday. And we're only selling drip coffee, cold brew cans, and bag coffee. So very limited menu, and it's designed to be curbside. You place an order online, I'll prep it for you, bring it out, exchange it, and limit contact, limit conversation, limit, conjugating. So
Yeah, no, that's the way to do it, man. So with that, so you mentioned that you were working on an app, right? So let's say someone like me who enjoys their coffee and I want to support. Would you encourage me to use the app? Should I be calling? What is the best way to go about ordering for the curbside pickup right now?
The best way would be it's not technically an app, it's on our website.
Okay.
So that's the best way, because that ensures that payments are made in a safe fashion. We don't have to, we have a Square iPad. So I've had customers who they don't even want to touch the tip button on the iPad, right? So which makes it kind of awkward, because I do wipe it down after it's used and sanitize it, but it kind of puts customers in an awkward position because they don't want to make it as if, it could seem uncomfortable or whatever. So the curbside website is just designed to simplify it, remove interactions, any potential points of spread that can happen, and maintain proper social distancing. So
it's the little interactions that you don't think about sometimes, which can help spread this. So what you're doing right now literally is, you're taking all of that into consideration, to that they keep referencing that curve, to kind of help keep that curve down. So so the website, and again, I'm going to make sure that all of this is visually here, but what is, for someone watching right now, what is your website?
It's backyardbeans.com. We have our online store. So our roasting takes place at a separate facility now. So our roasting operation is considered to be life-sustaining based on the state. We are a licensed food processor in the state of Pennsylvania. So we sell to a number of grocery stores, Whole Foods, Wegmans, small independent shops. If you're down in Philly or in Ambler, Weaver's Way is one of our accounts. So we've been supplying all of our grocery stores throughout this crisis. So we're still roasting. So if you go to our website and you go to shop, that's just going to be our online store that it's been for, since we've been in business. There is another link there that will go to curbside. You're going to be able to order some of the same coffees, but instead of it being delivered to your door, if you're in the 19446 zip code, or shipped to you, you can just simply do it drive by at the cafe. Yeah. And why do we have both? Well, things like cold brew needs to stay refrigerated. So the majority of our sales coming out of the cafe are actually our cold brew cans, because our cafe is one of the only places that is open right now that people can buy them. Right.
And those were the cans that were when you walked in the door on the left-hand side in the cooler, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Really good stuff.
Yeah, we brew all that right here in this facility that I'm at now. So everything's brewed in-house, canned, packaged in-house. So, but the curbside, so it's a little bit redundant in terms of menus, and I realize it creates some confusion, but we did the best we could to launch the site, get open again, and we've been adjusting as we go, and we get feedback from customers. I mean, no one had a game plan for how to handle this situation.
Yeah.
So.
No, you're right, man. I like the word adjusting, because that's what we're all doing. You're adjusting, we're adjusting, we're all trying to figure this out, and we're going to continue to adjust until the dust settles and we get back to some type of normalcy. So website, merchandise. You guys have, if someone was on your website and they said, you know what, I want to go the extra mile and make sure I'm doing my best to support, could they go and order coffee and maybe a t-shirt or something along those lines if they wanted to?
Yes. So we do have merchandise. It's fairly limited. We've sold through a lot of it. And I'm not really, I don't think it's necessarily the responsible thing to do right now to go buy more and tie up cash and inventory when no one really knows what the certainty of the future of this crisis is. So we're trying to be very, when we run out of things, we run out of things. We're buying more coffee. Clearly, that's what we do. But the rest, we're just selling through inventory that we have in terms of the merchandise. The one thing I've asked customers that have reached out, like I've had inquiries about gift cards and other ways to give. The best way to give right now is through our virtual tip jar. So we had to lay off our entire cafe team. And we started a little fundraiser. Initially, it started with, I went to the cafe the day after we closed just to hand out gallons of milk and we had like 25 dozen eggs from the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I just asked for donations in return, and we raised about $650 that morning.
Awesome.
So we started the virtual tip jar. We started the our backyard blend, which $5 of each roast goes back to that fund, and so far we've raised over $6,000.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
that's
and
awesome.
I mean, my employee as a business, we're fairly diversified. We have wholesale grocery. We've a number of our wholesale accounts are closed, but we're here. We're roasting. We've had to cut back, right, on staff, but we are fairly sustainable where we're at. What I'm more concerned about is our employees who are having to go apply for unemployment along with millions of other people, right? I mean, imagine that system is slightly overloaded at the time.
Yeah.
So this fund is allowing them to, essentially, I mean, 100% of the donations go directly to them.
That's awesome.
And so it enables them to have some income during a quite uncertain time, and while they're waiting for, unemployment if they choose to apply, or any other types of federal relief or state funding, you name it, that they can apply for. So.
That's awesome, man. I mean, my hat goes off to you as a business owner myself, man. I know it's challenging knowing that people depend, on these things being in place, right? The doors being open and customers being able to come and things like that. And when we can't provide that opportunity, no matter how much we want to, it's tough. So the fact that you've been able to find this way to show your loyal employees that you do care, that says a lot, man. And one of the other interviews I was on with Boardroom right here in Lansdale, we kind of spoke about some of the same things, and the one word that I came up with, but used, was community, right? Sense of community. And I really feel like that's where we were going, but you see it a lot more now, especially from acts of kindness like that, man. So, my hat goes off to you. Now, I was actually going to ask the question, and I still am, just to make sure that we didn't miss anything, but someone right now today watching this video, if there isn't anything that you said as far as how can they help support, right? So that virtual tip jar is there. What's the one other thing that the few other things you'd want them to know, right? So the curbside, or, hey, if you're at the grocery store, pick up an extra bag of, what can someone do right now? And you may have seen me on Instagram. I had my rubber gloves on at Wegmans, and I had the bag of coffee, and I was happy because I could support local, right? But what are your thoughts? What could someone do right now or today or tomorrow to support Backyard Beans?
Honestly, if the easiest way is to buy product on our website. So the curbside pickup is run by me. It's not necessarily financially prudent for us to hire someone to run curbside pickup, and it also goes against the whole safety aspect of why we closed the shop. But by ordering coffee from our website or buying at one of our grocery accounts, you're still supporting the people that are still here working, which would be our production team, who are roasting and bagging and cold brewing. So, if you're at Wegmans, if you're at Whole Foods, if you're at any of the independent grocers we're at, and you see our coffee and you need coffee, purchasing it would be a great way to help support us. If you have extra, if you feel the need to give, donating to the virtual tip jar, that just goes right back to the brief. And that's actually been extended to any of our employees that have been impacted by this crisis. It's not just our cafe team, because we have had to make some reductions at production.
Where do they find the virtual tip jar? Is that online as well?
Our website, top right, there's a yellow button that says virtual tip jar. Yeah.
Love it.
So
Love it.
it is pretty easy as possible. And then the other thing I'd ask too, we just started a campaign over the weekend. We're doing coffee deliveries and cold brew deliveries to local hospitals, and we're matching every donation. So we have like the box coffee, the 96-ounce box coffees, and we have cold brew cans. So every donation, every purchase made by a customer, we're matching it. And we had so many donations made over the weekend and earlier this week that we're actually trying to we're having to do a lot more planning in terms of how we're logistically going to deliver it all. I think we're up to about like 50 boxes of coffee and
nice.
A number of cold brew cases. So we're trying to spread it around between all the hospitals. Clearly Lansdale, Abington Hospital is the closest, but we have accounts and customers everywhere in the area, up Doylestown, Grandview area. So up in Bucks County and down into the closer to Philly's suburb hospitals like Abington and Einstein.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another way. I mean, that's not something that necessarily benefits us as a business, because with the donation and the way we priced it, I'm really just breaking even on it. That's not something that we're doing to make money on.
Sure.
We're doing it to give back to all of the healthcare workers. My wife is a nurse. She is not practicing since we had our first daughter, and she joined helping to run the business. But she's a nurse. One of our employees' husband is a nurse. So, the healthcare community, a lot of our customers at the shop are in healthcare. So it's, these are not just healthcare workers to us. They're part of our community. They're part of our neighborhood. They're part of our family. And it's just an easy way to kind of give back to them and say thank you.
I love it, man. It's right now, our first responders, and I can't imagine the amount of pressure that they have. So every little kind gesture, I'm sure goes that much further. So, and I will also personally not only not come in, but will also contribute to that. And I will also find a way, whether it's, online purchase or tip jar, I will find a way to make sure that we as a community are also doing our part to help you as well. We're very passionate. And we're hopeful that you guys will be opening your doors again very, very soon.
Yeah, we all are. It's going to be a weird month, potentially longer, but we have to enjoy. I mean, I've been trying best as a business owner to enjoy the downtime. As weird as it says, like things are slower now.
Yeah.
The weather's getting nice. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. My wife's pregnant. We're expecting our third in May. So it's like, I can definitely use this time to, spend some more time with my daughters and just enjoy the slower time before things hopefully, return to the new normal, if you will.
Yeah.
And whenever that may be.
My youngest just turned 5 months, and we make all these jokes about, wanting to get out the house and all these different things. But once you mentally realize things are slowing down and that right now, this is what is normal.
Yeah.
The connection, the quality time has been unparalleled to anything else. Before it was just great to come home and see the family excited that you're home. Right. But now building those memories throughout the day of things you just usually didn't do has a lot of weight. So Godspeed to you, the wife, the kids, the one on the way, and enjoy. I use that word loosely, but enjoy this time. with your family, man. And things will pick up. Like you said, it's just a matter of when.
Yeah. I mean, and we can go along the next few months dwelling in this, or you can stay positive and hopeful. And, I mean, I realize it's a financially troubling situation for a lot of people. But I think it's still important, at least within like Lansdale and the community, to see the response that the community's had to each other. It's an opportunity to come together as a community and just kind of enjoy this new norm, if you will, for a little bit. And so that's kind of what we've been doing for the last week, and we'll continue to do for the next month. So we'll see how, lucky for us, people love coffee.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can't go without it.
Yeah,
So,
when I started this little business, I didn't think it would be a life-sustaining business, but I mean, I understand it's part of a lot of people, including my own daily routine, and it's the more we can do to not disrupt routines during this time, the better. So
agreed, man. And this is the first time we've had a conversation, but I can tell that you're a genuine good person, and I'm a firm believer that good things happen to good people. We all are going to have our turbulence in life, right? I think we're all collectively going through it right now, but what I wanted to leave you with is that good things happen to good people, and backyard, the doors will be open again very soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. With that said, man, Matt, I appreciate you carving some time out to speak with me. I know, even though things are different, I know you're busy. So again, man, I appreciate and respect the time you took today to speak with me.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. With that said, I will talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Have a good one.
You too.